Somaliland election is fast approaching. It's no longer a news, and the preparation are in top gear. Now, to some people, it is drumming some kind of, some kind of fear, and to some, it is actually coming in a peaceful, way. Whichever way it is a feat that must come to pass, and the Electoral Commission have set the date for these two major elections. What elections are we talking about? Parliamentary election and local council elections. Well, this is what we will be looking at on the program today, your view with CBA. And of course, we have a guest, a special guest in the studio this moment. But before we let the cat out of the bag, before we reveal the identity of our guests in the studio, let me briefly introduce myself. I am your regular anchor that you've already known. Ajara Ahmed Tijani is my name, and this is coming to you from the studio of CBA, the voice of East Africa and beyond. Stay with us. We'll go for the first break on the program. When we come back, of course, our guest is already on seat with us on set, and then we'll hit the ground running on the issues around the election and how do we go about it. Stay with us. Happy to have you join us back. It is your view with CBA, and as usual, this is always a live telecast from our studio here, CBA TV, the voice of East Africa and beyond. We're headquartered here in Hargeisa, yes, the capital of Somaliland. What are we looking at today? Of course, from my intro before I went for that break, it was just about the upcoming election in Somaliland, the parliamentary and the local council elections. Many issues around it, and when you move around, you get to see a lot of posters on the billboard, on the walls, on the fences, and different strategic areas. And the first thing you see is Musharaha, 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 left, right, center. How do we select, or how the selection of candidates is in the electioneering process of Somaliland? These are the issues that we want to look at today, and who do we even choose to represent us either in the parliamentary seat or the local council election. With us today, we have a man who is, I would say, a representative of the young people. He is the face of the youth, as far as Somaliland community is concerned. Our guest today is a young graduate of, master's program in governance and leadership. That goes to explain that we're very selective in bringing our guest today. And he's also a graduate of Hargeisa University, and which explained that he's been on ground and he understands the nitty-gritty of the Somaliland election. My guest also has been working with governance and private sector more than 8 years. Ladies and gentlemen, receive with me in the studio Adnan Isaq Ali.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing, sir?
Fine, good.
It really is a pleasure to have you, with us this moment. And I know you have a tight schedule. We have a lot of things to do. But I was so determined to hunt for you, and finally you are here. Okay, now when we talk about local council election in the structure of governance around the world, either you are operating military system of governments or democratic system of government, or whether you're practicing federalism or constitutionalism, as the case of Somaliland is, okay? The local council are the people that are very, very close to, the community. They are the number one, gate to the government from the people. If the people need to, get something from the government, local council people are the let me say, they stand in between government and then the people, in terms of community development, in terms of reaching to the people, okay? Either you're practicing federalism or constitutionalism. Now, this election is fast approaching, and from the Electoral Commission, there is a saying that all preparation are on top gears. What is your view of this coming election? Is it actually holding, as it is scheduled, March and May? Do you see it coming?
And actually, Nagura.
Okay.
First, Achara.
Oh, you just spoke my language.
Yeah. That means thank you so really.
Okay.
And I would like first thank you before really going to your question, and I just want to really appreciate and congratulate you as a producer of this program.
Thank you.
And as well as the manager and the owner of CBA.
Thank you.
Actually, CBA is a very great contributor to the case of Somaliland, because it is the only English broadcasting in Somaliland. So, proud to be here to your studio today.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you.
Invited me this program.
Thank you.
And after that, before really go into your question, I would like to congratulate and appreciate to the stakeholder elections in Somaliland, and His Excellency Musa Bihi Abdi, the President of Somaliland, and political parties and House of Elders and National Electoral Commission for their mandated on the day of election in 31st May in this year, really. So that's a great opportunity and a great milestone, because we have been hosting a conflict between the parties and the government on this issue. And after that, and as you know, the NEC, National Electoral Commission, they already mandated and that the election will be in May this year. And as they already told us, they already on the process of preparation, and they already did for the voter registration. And so this is mean to us as a community of Somaliland, as a young generation, and other ordinary people. And it is a great pressure, it is a great opportunity to think and to have a space for thinking our really future, especially who we are elected really, and in what people that we are wanted to be our representative in cities of local governance and local councillors and House of Representatives. So this is a great positive view that this will be a great contribution to the development or local development and as well as the government development at all. And when I'm really saying that, I'm really related to the issue of parliamentary election. And so it's a great view for me and a very positive view for me.
Thank you so very much. You just mentioned one very important issue, which on this platform there is a need for us to look at. Now, you mentioned the candidacies, you understand? Now, anywhere in the world where democracy is being practiced, it is the choice of the people, the people that you want to, govern, that really matter. Now, I just want to ask you, I get to see a lot of posters around, a lot of, campaign is going on,
yes.
Even though I don't know how it is practicable in this part of the world, okay? But you get to see posters, Musharaha here, Musharaha there, Musharaha. I even saw a poster that looks like you. I don't know, maybe you're one of the candidates. But here is the question. What are the criteria, or what kind of criteria do Somaliland political parties, look for from the aspiring candidates? Because I know that these candidates that we get, flocking around are going to be endorsed, elected, or selected, as the case may be. I don't know how, how they do it here, you understand? At the end of the day, by the political parties, either Wadani, you know, either you know, any other political parties that we know around here. The selection of the candidate or the endorsement of the candidate will come from political parties, and political parties are representing the interests of the masses. So what are the criteria for choosing who would represent people? You understand? Should it be the criteria from the party that matters, or the choice of the people?
And actually, it is very interesting question, and very important to underline that, like that question really. And it's election based on a people's choice really, because of people will go to the policy station and they will vote for their representative. But actually, before that, the candidates are normally flow for different stages of selection. The selection starts from the clan system, because of and there is a clan, leaders on clan and elders, who they are really first faced to pass on that and criteria, and they have on their own criteria really. And when the candidates really pass that in that step of selection, he's just goes to the political part selection committee, which they already know nominated.
Selection committee. Let me underline it. Selection committee, not electing committee.
Yeah. Okay. And that selection committee are responsible to see his background. They have own criteria. I can really take good example in Wadani.
Okay.
And they already share us a very big book really, and which is they write for all the criteria they needed to be really matching for every candidate.
Okay.
So when the candidate is really passing that, and he's just go to the final one, which is the National Electoral Commission, and they have their own and selection and criteria, and all the criteria is based on the constitution and election law, which means law 20, law 20 2001, and called it the law of presidential and local council elections law. And that law indicates for the criteria that every candidate should be really flow and pass it before it coming to the final. And so in these three different stages, when the candidate is finishing and passing all that, he should go and be that man is the real candidate. The real candidate is that
real
man.
Candidate.
Yeah.
No longer aspiring candidate.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the people will vote for that candidate. So if, for example, if the candidate is passing all that one, he deserves to be people will vote for him really.
Okay, now here is a very big issue. You understand? The major job here is being carried out by the elderates, or let me say the elder council, or council of elders, so to say, because I look at Somaliland, the structure of government is that of Western constitutional pattern, and then the traditional pattern or constitutional pattern. You understand? I read something about Qabail or Qabil or something, or Qabail.
Yes, Qabil.
Qabil. Qabil it is an Arabic language which simply means a clan.
Yes.
And if you put it in plural, it becomes a Qabail, right?
Yeah.
Now, it shows that the great assignment is being carried out by this Council of Elders. Now, what message do you think should go to this Council of Elders from representing whichever clan it is, forming a political party in this part of the world, as to what will benefit people in the end? You understand? Now, it simply means that these elders are very close to the people. They know the pains of their people.
Yes.
They know what people want. You understand? So They represent, they know exactly, they've sampled the opinions of the people. This candidate, like Adnan has what it takes to go for maybe local council election or maybe legislative. Okay, we're going to elect or nominate him to go out and go for the election. What message do you think is meant for this set of people in choosing the right candidate? Don't forget, these two major elections are very key to the development of the grassroots, very important to the development of the community and the nation at large. So what message do you think is for these elders in selecting the right candidate for the right job?
And actually, the message is very clear and obvious because of I just want to really underline before that is and the elders and other selection committees, maybe political parties and NEC, they should be aware that as a law of 23 in Somaliland, which is called the law of regional and district management law.
Okay, law of regional
and district administration law.
Okay,
indicates that the local councillors' function and tasks are service delivery. And service delivery is a very big and proud and title. But you can really see what it means to us in the local council.
Okay.
And it is those who are responsible for the education, basic education. It is those who are responsible for the basic and essential health care.
Okay.
They are responsible for what's so called hygiene and sanitation.
Okay.
They are responsible for what's so called water utilities, what we are suffering for a long time really in Hargeisa. They are responsible for what's so called to building and developing infrastructure like roads. You see Hargeisa hosting a very poor roads. Choosing and selecting for our candidates is starting from the house elders, leaders, elders in clans, and they should be really aware, and they selecting today for the future of their children's education. Yeah.
Can you please say that again?
And they are choosing today,
okay,
for children's education and health care and hygiene and sanitation and getting a beautiful and clean cities. They are really selecting today for what's so called to all what they need in basically in life.
That is the word on marble. The elders and the leaders of clans or representatives of different clans should be aware, according to my guest, that they are choosing any candidate for the future, not only for them, but the future of their children and their great-grandchildren. In other words, they are choosing for tomorrow. It has been your view with CBA, and right about now we've been discussing with Adnan Isaq Ali. Adnan Isaq Ali is a young graduate of a master's program in governance and leadership, and he's also a graduate of Hargeisa University. All right, we'll go for yet another break and then we'll be back again. Our guest is still in the studio with us. You're welcome back to the program. It is Your View with CBA, and right about now we still have with us our guest Adnan Isaq Ali, who has been saying a lot about how elections should go, who we should select or elect as our representatives in the coming local council election and legislative election. Now, before we went for that break, you said you raised a very punchy point, and that was the message, a very essential message to the elders, to the leaders, those that are responsible for the selection of the candidate, to be aware and be wary, okay, of the kind of candidates they will impose on people. Let me just put that word because it's a selection word.
Yes.
They will impose on people. Put it into consideration the future of themselves and the future of their children. So now, furthering that conversation, you mentioned earlier on that these representatives, these candidates, are going to be responsible for the health care delivery, healthcare service for the people, infrastructural development in terms of road and building and beautiful city, and then you mentioned education, which is very key, okay? And then there's something I would want you to just lay emphasis on. Maybe you're going to share it between the those people that are voting, the voters, and then the elders as well. You understand? The process is a little bit technical, from elders to the party, then party to the electoral commission. Now, what do you say? What do you say about? Because if we look at this community, you discover that the youth constitutes the greater percentage of the population. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Even though we have elders.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so in percentage, we can say that those people that are controlling the future of this nation are actually a selected few, who are the elders. Okay? Now, determining the future of the vast majority of the youth.
Yes.
What do you think is the responsibility of the teeming youth, the conscious youth of Somaliland in this coming election?
Actually, it is really very worrying, really, to see that the small people, really, a tiny of community, especially elders, are really decided to the future of young generation, which is almost above 50 or 60% of the total population in the country.
Okay.
But actually, and it's related something is to the culture, really, traditional culture, which means that the elders are always on the top, really, when it comes to the decision making and really and management and administrating to the clans, really. So although we are really concerning that issue, because of I see so many young candidates who are really graduated, who have a very good
who have been traveled out of the country, and have seen the world.
They have so many experience in the country and in the outside of the country, but actually the clans or their elders, the leaders of the clan elders, really are not really took them because of I don't know, something is issue related to their own clans, but and actually it is a very worry point, really, that still facing and something is relating a culture, really, traditional culture, which we cannot have which we cannot have authority to really eliminate of that culture. But
do you mean it is not dismissible, it is not eliminatable right now? What about the future? Do you think it will continue to persist this way?
I see very interesting and a very a wide and clear future, that because that kind of behavior we will really eliminate because of And nowadays there are so many young generations, youth who are really involved to the governance sector, and I really wanted to appreciate the president of Somaliland and for his really nominating to the young generation, young educator and graduates, but actually when the young generation are really getting more education and gonna have experience, going to the outside and see what's going in the world. Yeah, that will be great contribution to eliminate this culture really. And futurely, I'm not really say it's questionable, but I'm really sure that very soon we will really eliminate for that.
There's going to be a paradigm shift.
Yes,
most definitely.
Yes.
Okay, so you've said a lot, but I still will want you to pay attention to the decision of the youth, in the coming election. Okay, let me put it to you this way: what are the roles? What are the roles of the youth, Somaliland youth, in this coming election?
And mostly. Most candidates you see on their billboards in Hargeisa, they all of them are youth generation, mostly really. I can say 70% they are young generations, yeah. And I think you can see for their role right now because of and they are wanted to be decision makers. They wanted to go to the seat and to the table on the decision making, and then they really wanted to change for what we are really discussing all the day in behaviors. And those who voters, what I can say, the most of them are really youth. I really wanted to send him here a very great message that we are belong to the future really as a young generation. So, and we think to our future, we think to how this country will be a prospective country based on how we are doing in what we are doing will be what we are really getting tomorrow. So, and the youth should be really playing a vital their role really, and they have to really think as a wife, they have to think as a role of young, and they should really shift it and really closer for the page of clans, and because there is so many young generations back to the clans really, and they really committed to what's so called it and clan elders and clan shit is really. So I don't like it to really see that bad behavior in our young generation, but we have to think, and we have to think very wide really. We have to think for our future. We have to think for how we are really come together and make tangible and great achievements towards how this country will be becoming and develop really, and we have to really back, and we have to try to participating for the politics really, and we have to go to the table, we have to take the decisions, and so my message and the role of the young will be better on this today.
Okay, like it is for every part of the world, there's no singular nation or country of the world that doesn't really have its own challenges, its own, I would say barriers when it comes to choosing the right candidate for the job. It is either in some country, it could be on a religious basis. This one say, oh, if he's not a Muslim, I'm not voting, even though the Muslim you want to vote for may not even possess what it takes to to lead the country to the promising land. Some will say, oh, if not a Christian, I won't go for it. It's a different case here in this part of the world. And we can say, like from the West, West African countries, I could hear a lot about, oh, it's not my tribe or my ethnicity or my ethnic groups, that might be the issue. But here it is the one thing that you would never escape when it comes to choosing the leader for this nation is clan issues around clan. Okay, but we look forward to that time or that day that the walls of the clan are going to be broken. Understand that one candidate is coming out and you look and, oh, regardless of where you come from, regardless of Kabal or Kabil or Kabail, from whichever you come from, since you have what it takes to do the job, I am going for you. That day definitely will come.
Yes.
Now, but for now, it is still the era of the elders.
Yeah.
And speaking of elders, you know, when we talk about Somaliland being a republic state or republic nation, okay, we're talking about a nation that has all the structures in place in terms of governance and many other activities that make a nation a nation. Okay, now when we talk about republic, some countries of the world are federal republic. If you mention Somalia, for instance, we say federation. You put federation
system. Yeah.
Federation system. They are practicing federation system.
Yes.
For Somaliland, I think it's constitutional republic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about constitution, you are talking about that component of different laws, that come together to form, the law that would paddle the affairs of the nation, forward. And the role and the place of the elders, cannot be overemphasized. You know that? Okay. So now, speaking of elders, Somaliland hold the house of, the elders election. They never hold it because the election of the elders are very paramount to this nation.
Yeah.
So when do you think the election of the elders election? I don't know.
House of Elders.
House of election. Thank you.
House of
Elders
election.
Election.
Yeah.
When do you think is coming up?
And actually, it is a question related to the politicians.
To what?
But
To politicians. Yes.
Yeah. And those who
maybe.
But in my view, and I think it's depending on how the government is really committed to do that one, because of if the government of Somaliland, the president and the executive are really try to do in and really making that election, they can really do. So we are been looking forward to see that election, but actually still we see that there is no that. But actually the law of elections indicates that when the parliament election happens, a year after should be election of the elders.
Okay.
But we are really, we cannot really committed for that to do exactly in every schedule we did it. But actually, and I'm really want to send my messages to the executive, and that they should be really committed.
Expedite action on that.
Yeah.
Okay, now, before we kiss a goodbye on the show today, there's always a takeaway from every conversation that you make, as people are viewing us from across the world, because this program is been broadcast, and of course we are viewed from different parts of the country, in Africa here and even beyond. Okay, now what are the takeaway from you in terms of who to go for, and what are the criteria that you suggest? Let's say Ajara Ahmed Tijani is coming out, maybe for parliament in Somaliland. No, nothing is impossible. In United States of America, we're having a Somaliland national being represented there. Adnan, or what's her name again?
Ilhan.
Ilhan
She's
is there.
Somali, really.
We have a someone from Nigeria, being part of from different part of the world. You understand? So you can't say I might come out to, Now, what are those criteria that you can pass as a recommendation for the Temin youth who are watching this program right now, whom, when you see all these criteria, you think, oh, this is the right candidate, go for it?
And actually, that's very clear, really, and very interesting point, really, to underline who we are wanted to be our representative as a young educator, and And actually, before that, I'm really so sorry to see that that much candidates very much candidates who are not matching the criteria.
Most of the candidates that we get to see around now.
No. But
all the musharahas we get to see
some of them really, some of them.
Okay.
I'm really very, very sorry to see that some candidates who are not matching the criteria. So
what are those qualities?
Upcoming elections in local governance and House of Representatives. Although obviously on that, there is a very suitable, very suitable, very good candidates who can be our representatives.
Without having to mention.
Yeah, I don't
just
want to mention
paint a picture.
Yeah. But the most interesting criteria we are really expecting to be, and based on that, is they should be really very educated.
Okay.
And their education should be
education is very important.
Very interesting point. They should have an experience related to the governance sector, experience related to the management issue or management position, a decision role position, and actually the other important thing is he should be committed to the good behavior in his organization. Maybe if he's been working to the maybe governance standard, he should be really normally should be coming to someone who have a very good credit and reputation in the society, among the society. So that's very important, and that's what I'm really underlining. I'm really congratulating to those who already matching that criteria.
Okay.
Those who others, maybe I'm really wanted to build and try to really running again and trying to build in their careers. Maybe they will get another opportunity for the next elections.
Okay.
But today, we need a right representatives.
Okay, right peg in the right hole. You understand? The right man for the right job is the recommendation from our guest on the show. Pretty much of what he painted, the picture he painted, I think I fit into them. You know, if it is education, I think I am really educated. If it is exposure, I think, and then management, you know, you must have that managerial skill, you know, to manage resources and people, and then you must be committed and have people at heart. So please vote for me, okay? That will happen in the next word, actually. All right, it's been a wonderful show together. Your view with CBA. If you have any comments, observation, or if you want to be part of the show, either aside from the fact that you drop your comment and then you hear your view, you can come on the show too by reaching to us through our platforms where you are watching us right now. My name is Ajara Ahmed Tijani, and our guest has been Adnan Isaq Ali. Thanks for showing on the show.
You're very welcome.
Okay, until the next time we come your way, remember.
hadal oo ku hadal
bishii oo dhan
$7
oo kaliya
ku darso fariin kasta oo aad dirtaana waa ku bilaash isticmaal shabakada ugu ballaaran geeyiga Soomaaliland haddaba si aad ugu shubato adeega kaafiye fadlan garaac xidig 8 eber 8 afargees ama xidig 2 eber 2 afargees tayo waa Telesom